giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. I see y'all cutting up already. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda Hyundai. I am your host, Bill Skywalker Still. Boom! Y'all can't let me live. Had to be at the show last night. Coming up today, man, we got another watch list. That's right. We're bringing back the list. I got about 5 or so things to keep our eyes on for week 3 of OTAs. And you're probably like, well, practice has probably started. Sure. But the media will be available to go and participate and watch and give us the tweets, give us the videos if they can, which usually they're not. But nonetheless, we'll get an update. So something to keep an eye on. If you are on Twitter, hit me up on Twitter, @Skywalker Still, and follow all of the wonderful reporters in Dallas that gives us all the updates. So got about 5 or so different things to keep an eye out on. I'll change that date here in a second too. And other than that, though, we're going to get into the roundup, which the Rams are being the Rams. We'll talk about that. Other than that, man, we are going to be very brief today. I know I always say that, and I promise you, I don't think it's going to be that long unless y'all make it long, and that's completely up to you. So 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. If you want to join the show, you can. You absolutely can. Peasy says, Sky, aren't you the media? No, I am not. We are independent media, but I am not the media yet. There's a very real chance that could happen, and if so, hopefully we're able to change the game a little bit and give y'all a different take on some things, or ask different questions. Some things I want to know that they just don't get asked down there. Me personally, I don't care if they say, hey, you got to get out of here. You can't talk no more. Cool. I come right back on YouTube and talk to y'all the same way I'm doing it. So I just want to know some things. That's all, Jerry. That's all. But shout out to the Bomb Squad in the building.
Bomb Squad!
I see y'all. What's good, bro? Lee in the building. TC915, Professor O, Toxic Tom, Big H, Lamitra, Peasy, Kel, Mark Smith, Rory, my other bro was good. KO, Antoine Swain, Adam Mack, Mackenzie, two times. Marcelo B, Alpha Mason, C. Nick, Stephen White, Mike Harris. Y'all are deep up here early. Okay. I like it. 68, one boy. I thought I saw, Big Sarge. Matisse was good. Who? Mac Jones. Mr. Woods in the building. C. Burleson, Henry Lee, Jesse Foss. C. Nix, James, Mar. Y'all deep over here on YouTube. If I missed you, my apologies. Let me get on Facebook. Joe T, Todd Cook, Peter Rizzo. Do we got CJ Richards in the building yet? He usually come through. What's good, Todd Cook? That's about Chuck Peters, Chuck P. We got E Montgomery over here on Facebook as well. Salute to y'all on Facebook if you can. Go ahead and share this thing as well on YouTube. Share this thing if you can. Let me fix this date because it's going to bug me. Y'all know how I am. And see, I see y'all in here starting stuff already, man. Professor O and Toxic Tom talking about my picture with, there we go, fixed. My picture with Jane Slater. You had to be at the show yesterday at the volume. I can't really go into details how wild y'all were yesterday. Hilarious show. One for the ages. But no, man, it was a professional picture. It was cool. I met Jane before. It's not the first time I met Jane. It's just that I got a chance to actually talk to her. I talked to Chill, and I saw Dave. That's my guy down there. D210 was there. Talked to a lot of media. I just took a picture with Jane. It's Jane Slater. She's Cowboys media royalty. What y'all want me to do, man? What y'all want me to do? Alpha said Vach was hurt. Shout out to my bro Vibes. Absolutely fantastic show, man. Fantastic show. Jack Bynum, that tape. Listen, man, I might go back and watch it after we done. That show was hilarious. Hilarious. But all right, let's hit this roundup. Not a whole lot in the roundup. There is some Cowboys update, if you want to call it that. We knew this was going to happen, but in regards to Jake Ferguson, and then I want to talk a little bit about that contract that the Rams just gave out, another one, and tie it back into us. So stick around. Let's do this thing.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Yes, indeed. Queen's call was hilarious. This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. They're more than just a fitness club. They provide the tools, support, and resources you need to achieve your goals. Like we always say here, strive for progress, not perfection. Your fitness goals not accomplished with one workout. You got to progress towards those goals, and you can do so with Texas Family Fitness. They now have 13 different locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so check any of them out or hit up texasfamilyfitness.com. So, Jake Ferguson is the last draft pick to sign his deal. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. The third and fourth round picks, the new CBA, there's always this wiggle room where they can have a little bit of negotiations and it takes a little bit longer. Well, it finally got done, and that's good because if he hadn't signed as we head into training camp, he wouldn't have counted against the roster. But I think it's kind of ironic a little bit, maybe funny, a little chuckle, that Jake Ferguson's deal gets done when Dalton Schultz decides to hold out. I mean, those two things don't mean any, they don't correlate. It is what it is. I just think it's ironic, you know? You know what? Dalton gone? Hey, Jerry, come here. I'm going to put pen to paper real quick. We'll talk a little bit more about Jake Ferguson later. I'll play a little clip from Bobby Belt where he kind of gives an update on his progression in the depth chart. But the Rams are at it again. Cooper Kupp, deservingly so, by the way. He had the Triple Crown last year, led the league in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Fantastic year. He signed a 3-year, $80 million extension, which in total for the rest of his deal that he has already is 5 years, $110 million through 2026. He gets a $75 million guarantee. That $75 million guaranteed is now the highest guaranteed ever given to an NFL wide receiver or non-quarterback offensive player. I just think the Rams go about business effortlessly. They literally broke their own record 2 days later. Probably, what are you talking about? Aaron Donald got the highest non-quarterback guarantee ever. And then 2 days later, the same team gives it to the other side of the ball in Cooper Kupp. And we didn't hear a whisper about arguing. We didn't hear nothing. In fact, Aaron Donald gave you some material to say, yo, there's an issue in LA with Aaron Donald. He's talking about retiring. Oh, nope. Nothing came out. We just let it chill, and then all of a sudden, Aaron Donald gets the highest contract ever. 2 days later, Cooper Kupp gets the highest contract ever. No slandering, no nothing. Just business as usual. That is this morning's roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Why can't Dallas just do that? Why is it always a fight? There was a tweet that was on I saw on Twitter that I thought was hilarious, but one of those, like, It was hilarious, but it hurt at the same time because this is what the Cowboys do. It says 1, play hardball. 2, other team resets the market at the position. 3, continue to play hardball with no contingency plan. 4, pay the player more than the originally asked price. That's the Cowboys for you. You don't believe me? I mean, this is just normal negotiation tactics for Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence. All my life I had to fight for his contract. Dak Prescott. All my life I had to fight for his contract. Dez Bryant. Randy Gregory. Hell, Ezekiel Elliott, even though that's one of those situations where Zeke, hey man, he just made a great business decision to hold out because he saw what was happening. But, it is always a fight with this organization. Meanwhile, the Super Bowl champs just like, yeah, record deal, here you go. Record deal, here you go. Matt Stafford, here you go. So, I don't know, man. I don't think things are going to really change with Steven. It's just one of those things you have to accept, right? And, I mean, hell, I didn't even bring up Dalton Schultz. He's about to be fighting for his situation as well. But, that's on Dallas. Why the hell would you franchise tag Dalton Schultz? I don't really get it, but that's on you, man. And then what that does is, and I meant to pull up this audio, but what that does is it sets a precedent for your team, and not only your team players, but the rest of the league. Other players see this. Your own players see it. DeMarcus Lawrence spilt the beans. He really probably wasn't supposed to, but he spilt the beans. Stephen Jones does not like having to pay these guys. And if I had to guess, I don't think he really wants to. At least not at the prices anywhere close to what they asked for. Like anywhere close. There's that good cop, bad cop play, right, with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. Whereas Jerry eventually comes in and he's like, oh, I'll save the day and I'll pay the piper or what have you. It's just it's really annoying. And I'm not saying you pay every single last player top dollar, break the bank money. But you just don't. It's just interesting. You don't hear this type of stuff coming out of LA when they're giving record breaking deals. You don't hear whatever for Aaron Donald or whatever for Cooper Kupp. It just happens. It's frustrating. So we'll see if we can overcome that, man. We'll see. What y'all talking about in here? We got my guy B Bird coming through early. Let's get B Bird in here before we get to our list. What's up, OG?
What's up, guy? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just Thursday. We're a day out of Friday. Feeling good about today's show, and I get to talk to my OG, man. What's up with you?
Well, when they signed that when Cooper Kupp signed the 3-year, $80 million contract. After I just talked about the Rams the other day, man, it just I just shook my head and just said, yeah, they're just doing what they do. But one thing I just wanted to talk about, man, a couple of things was that those guys made no noise. They didn't throw anyone under the bus. They just went out and paid the players, man. And what those guys do is identify difference makers and go get them. Now, whether that's their own difference maker or Jalen Ramsey. But what they're saying is that we can get some guys here that are just different than everybody else, and y'all can play around with these guys, but we're gonna sign them and put them on our football team. Now let me say this. I want to clarify this because I think the Rams. It's not that they're just a cut above everyone else because they're not. Now I did see someone the other day mention that hey they were an interception away, but they were interception away, a dropped interception away in a championship game. So hey, you got to get there, and the luck, happens for you. But one of the things I want to say about those guys is, Scott, we talked about this before. They're doing this thing out of necessity. So think about this. Todd Gurley signed a contract, and it was a record contract. But one of the things I thought about is that the Rams are going back to L.A., and there's so much competition for the attention of the L.A. people. You have the Dodgers, you have the Lakers, and you have the beaches, you have the beautiful women and people, then you have Hollywood. It's so much to compete for the dollars, and that's why they go to the games, man, and they're a great team, and there's still more 49er fans there. You know what I'm saying? There's still more, other fans still come to the stadium because they have to win a certain way. It's no different than the Lakers, man. I always thought about this when the Spurs were winning championship in the boring style, the Lakers wouldn't want to win that way. The Lakers have a certain style they want to win because they have to attract people there. There, Miami, places like that, they have a short attention span. If you're not winning, they're not coming out to see you. So what the Rams know is that we have to win. We can't be mediocre in L.A. This stadium will be empty if that's the case. Well, the thing about it is it's necessity. They need to do these things because, remember, the GM will get fired, coaches will get fired, and all those things happen. Now we go to the Cowboys, it's just not a need. There's no necessity to go do these things, to still make money, to still get people in. And that's what the issue is. So when I talked about the Rams the other day, it wasn't necessarily just about their front office, but it's about the front office urgency to win. Urgency to win right now. And they know they have to do it in that market, man. And so when I look at them doing that's a great thing. That's what our front office has a lack of, urgency. We're looking for 2026, looking at contracts down the road because why? Jerry ain't getting fired and Steven ain't getting fired, no matter what happens. So they can look at a long-term projection of how this thing is going to go. Again, I said before, I copied the OC. Stephen Jones runs this place like an accountant. He doesn't have to worry about much winning or anything like that. He's got to worry about counting the money, man. But so when I see the Rams doing this, it's an urgency there for them to stay relevant in that area. Also, but the end point for the fans is they win because they have to put a good product on the field. The Cowboys don't really have to put a good product on the field. They don't have to go all in, so they don't, man. And so I just wanted to call and just tell you about that, man. Oh, one other thing too, and if you think about this, they had a young quarterback in Jared Goff. Those guys just basically said, now he was falling off, but most teams would be like, man, we got a first-round draft pick into this guy, and man, we got to give it all we can to put all. No, they said, no, you're not good enough. We're going to get Matthew Stafford, a guy that's already proven to be able to throw the ball around, and we're going to trade you and trade some other draft picks. No other team. It's not many teams that would have done that, man. And I know our team wouldn't have done it. So it's just like I just love the aggressive nature, and the reason why they're aggressive because they have to be. Our team does not have to be aggressive, man.
It's not just with Jared Goff either. It's not just with Jared Goff. They got rid of Brandon Cooks. Yeah. They got rid of Sue. They got rid of Aqib Talib.
Oh,
they got rid of Gurley. They don't stand still. So they
don't stand still, man.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, let me say this. I think me and you echoed this before. Look, I'd rather you try and fail than not try at all. And so what it is so people will say, well, if they'd have signed this guy and he'd have been a bust, then y'all would have said, no, I wouldn't have.
Not me.
I applaud the effort.
Not me.
I applaud the effort, man. And I'll tell you this, man, my daughter, it's a softball story again, but my daughter early on, man, she would shy away from, like 8U, she shy away from pop flies. And what it was, she didn't want to miss it and didn't want to do anything, so she said, I just won't even go to it and attempt it, right? So what I pulled her to the side, I said, my daughter's Madison. I said, Madison, all I'm going to do is ask Mom when I'm at the game, and I'm not at the game, is did you give a real good effort to it, and did you try real hard? I don't care about the results. I said, if you drop it, you drop it. I said, but if you just give me a hard effort to the ball and then try, then I'm good with that. Well, after the game, she called all excited. Dad, I caught 2 pop flies. I said, I know you would. And what it was is if you try real hard, got in position, I knew you'd do it. But I had to get you to get there. You see what I'm saying? And to get there and try. I knew you can do it. You didn't have confidence in yourself. But what I'm trying to say is a try, man. That's all I care about.
Ain't nobody pushing Stephen Jones to do that. That's the problem.
No.
And the only guy that you would think could do that is Jerry. And come on, let's just be real. His power has been circumvented by Stephen Jones, if we're keeping it in the game.
Yeah, he done backed off that whole thing, and this is Stephen Jones' show. That's why when I talk to people and they say, well, Jerry this and Jerry that, I said, y'all really not in tune with what's going on. Stephen has taken over this thing. Jerry is a wildcatter, man. He would go after guys, back in the day. He was trying to win, man. And so even when he tried to win and it failed, I was like, hats off to you. At least you tried, man. That's what as fans, that's all we care about is that you're trying to win. Right now, here's the deal. Take the Rams off season and take our off season. Which one you think reflects a team that got knocked out, upset in the first round of playoffs, and which one reflects the Super Bowl? Well, it seems like it's almost flipped if you look at it.
I see what you're saying. You're saying because the Rams is getting, they're going out and getting the Robinsons of the worlds and making these extensions with their guys, and the Cowboys.
And what's the linebacker from Seattle? I forget his name.
Wagner. Yeah.
Wagner. They're making moves like that. They're making their team better. They've had it's no reason why we got upset in the first round in the playoffs, and the Super Bowl champions are more aggressive in the offseason than we are.
It's in their DNA.
That makes no sense. And that's why we're going to be.
It makes sense. It makes sense because that's who the Rams are. That's what I mean when I talk about organizational philosophy, organizational DNA. Go look at the Ravens, the Rams, the Niners. They have a philosophy, right? And for the most part, a lot of their philosophy has been worked to either be champions, get to the championship game, or be successful over a long period of time. Where Dallas, what is the philosophy that's worked? Drafting? Okay, you can draft. What else? Because that's not going to get it done. Because
it's not going to get it done. And the thing about you can't just have one phase that you're great in. You have to start looking at other phases to form this roster, man. And these teams and the Rams are really opposite. They don't care much about the draft. They care about guys that have already proven that they can do it on a level, and that's what they care about. It could be a mix of that. But the problem is that Steven won't even dabble into free agency. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about first day, second day free agency. We're not talking about 3 months later on free agency. And so that's where I have an issue with them, because it seems to me that they're not trying. I think they're building their team to win the NFC East again, but that's not good enough because we did that last year. Because the teams that you're going to have to beat, we went 6-5 against last year. Those are playoff. I think we went less than that against playoff teams, but that's who we're going to have to play in the playoffs, man. We got to play really tough teams in the playoffs, but you're building this team to beat Washington, Philadelphia, and that's okay. It was okay in the 90s because those were Super Bowl type teams. If you built your team up to beat New York, Philadelphia, and Washington back in the days, then you're probably going to be able to compete with everybody else. That's not the case right now. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to build our team, man. We had to have our eyes on the Tampa Bays, the Rams, and the Arizona. Those kind of people up there. That's who we have to have our eyes set on. That's what we used to do, saying who's the best, who won a Super Bowl. We want to be better than them. How can we get better than them? We got to get more players. That's why this roster should have been stacked on top this year instead of getting rid of Cooper. And now we're looking at Cooper's contract, saying like, wow, we could have restructured this guy. And, you know what I'm saying, and kept him because that's the same thing the Browns did. And so we should have just stacked on top. If you're trying to win, you add to this roster.
That's what I said.
You don't take away and go back and forth with the thing. And now we're saying our wide receiver room is not as good as it was last year. But what's going to happen is we'll win. I still think that we're the best in the East. We'll win the East. And then it's going to satisfy a lot of fans. But we're trying to get to the ultimate goal, man, which is the Super Bowl. To me, NFC Championship is a goal. I mean, if we got there last year, I'd be like, hey, man, we're moving in the right direction. We got to the playoffs. I don't think we had to me, if you asked about our year last year, it wasn't successful. People say, well, 12-5. Look at those wins, man. No. And not just that. Look at the playoffs and how we looked in the playoffs. We looked discombobulated in the playoffs. That was domination, man, to be totally honest with you. Don't look at the final score. Everybody talk about the last play. Well, we had to get the ball in the end zone after that, even we got the first down or the timeout or whatever, or the spike ball. So what I'm saying is we are far away on this thing, man. And I think we're far away because we're not getting the people on this team that we need to get on. We're not stacking on top. We have no sense of urgency in the front office, man, because Steven and Jerry are not getting fired. The guys for the Rams know that if they don't fill seats, if they don't win, they don't fill seats. If they don't fill seats, they're gone. And so that's what they're working off of. Hey, those GMs have college funds to pay, mortgages, and all those kind of things. They're working for their job every year, not Steven. He can have a 7-year plan on this thing, man.
I said that months ago.
I went on long enough, Scott.
Yeah, show over now.
I went on long enough. Yeah.
You Burden stole the show.
But you know, those Rams gonna bring it out me, man. So I had to let that off, man. I'm gonna talk to you later, brother. I'll be listening.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all tomorrow. I mean, this is all the same things that I've been saying since the season ended. And y'all killed me, everybody. Not y'all, not everybody, because there's people like B. Bird who agree with me here. But when it was tough to come on this show. It was tough. I told people straight up, hey, if you're here today, man, and you one of those rah-rah guys that, hey, we're going to win the Super Bowl, everything is fine, you ain't going to like this show. Because I'm about to go in and tell you why things aren't as pretty as you want it to be and why I don't expect things to change when it comes to free agency. And what happened? We talked about how the pressure of these other teams, the general managers, as B. Bird said, there's pressure on these guys. Why do you think the Raiders are going out here and doing the things they do? Why do you think there's change in head coaches and whatnot from these other organizations? Because they got to win. Why do you think Tyreek Hill was in Miami? Bro, I got to win. He don't care about, oh, your cap's going to be messed up in 5 years. And I might not be here in 5 years. Stephen Jones, cushy. That's why he can talk about 2025's cap. He's not going anywhere. So, I'm glad he reiterated it and I didn't have to, but that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Let's get back to the phone lines. Shoot, we might not even get to the list. We might say the list tomorrow. Let's see what's up. It seems to be getting on. What's up, 407? Let me see if I can save this now. Damn, I can't.
This is Damon.
What's up, Damon? Damon?
What's good? Huh?
No, I was doing the Cat Williams. I am a boy, Damon.
Man, I'm just out here trying to keep it moving like a big girl on a tricycle, man.
Wait a minute. That's different. What's up with you, though?
Not too much, man. Not too much. So, yeah, man, man, the last caller was great, man. I think he took about 3-4 of my points.
Shoot, B. Bird took, that's the show. I could end the show right now.
I think he might have messed around and took your whole list.
Well, I ain't even get the list is actually about OTAs. What B. Bird was talking about is something that we both share very equal frustration with, and it's how they build this team. But I digress.
Man, okay, so I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so when I was thinking about it, man, it was like honestly, like Jerry, or I'm sorry, not Jerry, but Steven is like, okay, think of the girl of your dreams, right? And you finally land a date with that girl of your dreams, and she's like, all right, we going out, get dressed to the nines, and we go to Ross and we buy a button down. That's exactly how I feel that we treat our off season. Every single year we said we want a date to the Super Bowl. We're going to do whatever it is. We're going to do whatever it takes to do it. And then we go to Ross and buy a button down. That is not about to impress nobody.
Oh, go ahead, brother. My bad.
Oh, no, you good. But that's how I just feel, man. I just feel like I don't understand how, like the Rams, just like I don't understand where the Rams are getting this money from, man. I don't know if they're pulling it from out under couch cushions or whatever it is they're doing, but there's no reason that the Cowboys cannot manipulate the cap the way that the Rams do. And I know we're going to probably Rams this thing to death over the rest of the offseason, but it don't make sense, man. I just don't understand. We keep trying to build for 3-4 years down the road, but we ain't never been successful in this particular year. So I'm on board with everything the last caller was saying, man. I'm personally perplexed. I have no idea as to why we cannot manipulate this cap better, but it all comes down to the fact that nobody's afraid to get fired. They know they're sitting on billions. They know they will continue to grow billions, and then they'll pass it down to their kids, and their kids will continue to fuck the cap up. So it just kind of is what it is, man.
Yeah, I wrote a tweet yesterday. I say it often on here a lot, but scared money don't make no money. If I ever go broke, I'm going to take your money. And that's what Meek Mill said, but I feel like that's how Les Snead operates. Like, Les Snead ain't scared. I mean, their owner ain't scared.
You know what Les Snead is? Les Snead is that cat that moves weight. That man don't care about the prices. He don't care about nothing. He know he going to make his money on the back end, bro. The last caller was exactly right. They got to worry about filling those seats. They ain't got to worry. I mean, look at the Cowboys. We got the best presence on YouTube.
Honestly.
We got the best presence on Twitter. We got the best presence on just regular daytime TV. We in the A block of every single morning show. We don't need to do anything. People going to watch regardless.
I forget what conference. Oh, it was on Watch Show. Somebody was like, the Jerry Jones situation about winning not being number one. I said, I totally get the argument, because when you have ownership intertwined with football operations, at the end of the day, if you're an owner of the business, what's your number one responsibility of a business as an owner?
Be profitable.
There we go. So, I mean, that's fair. It's a fair complaint. Like, you can't get mad at people for believing that, because not too many owners are intertwined in football operations in this league like that. And the one owner who was opposite of Jerry Jones, guess what he did? He said, you know what, man, listen, I'm getting old. This ain't it. This ain't working. Let me fall back. And what happened 2 years later? They end the damn Super Bowl. That's not a coincidence. That ain't a coincidence.
You know what I would love, man? Ultimately, I would love if they would just give Will McClay the keys. You know what I'm saying? Just give Will McClay the keys, man, and live and die with it. He ain't done nothing but show us that he's consistent. Give him the keys. Put some people in there who are afraid to lose their job, who are afraid to get fired.
Tell you what, though,
and I guarantee you we will make those moves.
I'm wondering, just throwing stuff out there. I'm wondering if Will is at the point now where it's like, hold on, wait a minute. I can get all the love and none of the hate by just kicking back, chilling. Oh, cool. I don't need to be the general manager, fam. Pay me like one. Keep your dumb ass title, and I'm gonna just sit back here and chill and watch y'all fail, and I'm gonna collect this check.
Yo, who was the backup quarterback? Who was the backup quarterback for Brett Favre for all them years, man? I can't remember who it was. But that man had the greatest job in the world. Never had to touch the field. Got paid, and kept going deep in the playoffs every single year. That's exactly what Will McClay is doing right now.
Yeah. So if I was Will, I'd just be like, hey, listen, I'm good.
That's why he ain't moved the last couple of years, man. He just keep taking a nice little pay bump, you know what I'm saying, stay out the way, and we only talk to him when it's draft season.
Facts. Hey, Damon, appreciate the
but
call.
I'm going to get on out the way, man. I'm going to let you get to the list.
All right, well, you know what? Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get to this list, Damon, because listen, this show, we already off the rails, but I like it, though.
At 306, though.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there with my shades.
All right, my dude. Peace.
All right, bro. All right, I promise 407 I'm going to get to you, but if I don't at least get to some of this damn list, we won't talk about the list at all. You know what? Nah, we're going to go ahead and clear this call list, and then we get to our regular list. 407, what's up, 407? You might as well come on in. What's good with you? There we 407.
Hey,
what's up?
I want to talk about Dalton Schultz. You know, he was good, but he wasn't falling off the bone good. You know, so he ought to just hang on in there. You know what I'm saying? And far as the front office, they need another Will McClay up there and a Skywalker Steel or two up there to get this thing straight, get this thing popping. That's all I got to say. Later. My guy,
appreciate you. They don't want me up. They don't want me up in there. But I appreciate that, man. I really do. I ain't that dude. I have my opinions and things like that. Will McClay though? Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I concede to Will McClay and whatnot, but I will say this. I just see what's going on around the league with more successful teams than the Cowboys over the last decade plus. And I say, well, you know, I mean, it's a copycat league. Why not? I don't think it's rocket science. Why not try a little bit of that? I ain't the smartest dude in the world. That just seemed obvious to me, but it's neither here nor there. All right, listen. Let me tell you about the ride of the week. Then we're going to get to this list because I don't want this show to get too far left. More left than it's already been. So let's get to the ride of the week, which is the 2022 Mazda 3 hatchback. For buyers with that champagne taste, but only a sparkling cider budget. I love it. The 2022 Mazda 3 delivers a premium package at a normal compact car price. It's offered both as a sedan and hatchback and can be equipped with an optional all-wheel drive, a punchy turbo engine, and enough upscale features to be taken seriously. So hit up freemanmazda.net for more information or visit Freeman Mazda in Irving, Texas. Let's go.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Talking said Stephen Jones is using QuickBooks to manage the just cheap, man. There's a man. I see. We did so many shows on this earlier in the off season that I tried to move on now with the draft. But there was a good Andrew Brandt. He was on Pat McAfee's show, and he described the cap and how the Rams and other teams are able to do the things that they're doing. Man, it's a really good clip. I might even play it later on in the show. We'll see. We'll see where we go from here. But essentially, there's obviously a loophole, clearly. And it has to do with kind of the pockets of the owners, which I really didn't piece this together. But the upfront money, the cash money coming out of the owners' pockets is what the Rams are doing. And they're just, I understand the kick the can down the road situation. And they're just like, whatever. We'll pay the upfront cash. The prorated stuff will catch us 5 years from now, if it does, right? Because you got the TV deals kicking in. But Andrew Brandt just described it so effortlessly in a great way. And it goes to show you that Jerry talk about there ain't a check I wouldn't write. And there might not be. But Stephen Jones is taking that goddamn pen out of his hands.
The money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
I love that. With your broke ass. Yeah, it is big topic. Toxic. It is. Fans get mad at you for talking about it, but it's the truth. It's the truth. But all right. It's time for the week 3 OTA list. There's a number of different things on here. But I'll be remiss if I didn't start off with Jalen Tolbert returning to practice. Dak Prescott came out and said on at the home run derby. Thought I might have heard him mention, but I wasn't close enough. But at the home run derby, that Jalen Tolbert is back at practice. And one of the things that I'm going to be watching from the Twitterverse, right? And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to somebody that's there today, is where the hell is Jalen Tolbert being lined up? How is he connecting with Dak, etc.? Because from my understanding, they outside of practice, they still go to the Dak yard, right? And they practice there because the CBA doesn't really allow them to practice with the coaches but so much. And we know how important it is at this moment for Jalen Tolbert, James Washington, Simi, all these guys to connect with Dak because the receiving core is not the same. It's no longer Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb to start off this season as it's been the last 2 years. And before CeeDee got here, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper for the last 3 years. It's no longer that. It's an entirely different room. Sans CeeDee Lamb. So getting Jalen Tolbert back is extremely important. And I'm just going to be curious to see how he's moving out there. It was a hamstring. Curious to see if his impact is felt from a physical standpoint with him in the lineup as opposed to the TJ Vashers, the Drummonds, the Freifogels of the worlds, right? The Simis of the worlds. Getting the 3rd round pick back, I think, is important. So keep an eye out on one Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert, you, sir. You just made the list.
You just made the list.
Tony Pollard. Snap count in the slot as well. Only right that I bring that up. Okay, now Tolbert's back, right? Where's Tolbert lining up? Is he outside? Is he inside? No matter where he's lined up, still not enough receivers out there really to be a threat if he had to play, right? So I still think at this moment, TP needs to be involved in the passing game, getting some of those reps and seeing what he can do. I'm just throwing stuff out here thinking, if TP shows here in these OTAs and mandatory minicamp, and then we get into training camp that, he is a viable passing option downfield, in the slot, whatever. Don't we have to see more 20 personnel? I don't know if they just didn't trust Tony Pollard to be out there with Zeke or what, but if he's showing that, okay, James Washington's out, Jalen Tolbert's out, whoever else is out, Gallup is out, but he's picking up that slack. Don't you got to put him out there with Zeke? I don't care if it's in the backfield and you motion him out. I don't care if he starts out in the slot. I don't care if he's out wide. Just find a way to get him out there and get involved. So I'm going to be, keeping my eye out on TP's involvement with Jalen Tolbert back. I think those two things are very interesting to look at because we talked about this on Watch Show, actually. Well, I asked him a question, where do you want to see so-and-so lined up? I personally want to see Jalen lined up on the outside as a boundary to start off. But if we go back, and hang tight with me here, I'm going to try to find this. If we go back to when Jalen Tolbert, come on. There it is. When Jalen Tolbert was discussing at Senior Bowl where he's been lined up, he had this quote at the bottom. I wanted to learn all the positions and be able to do anything I can for the team. So I took it upon myself to continue to learn and grow as a football player. He talked about, X, Y, Z, and whatnot. And you saw his slot numbers increase. You saw that. So I'm wondering what Coach McCarthy is going to do, because he did ask Tolbert, can you play here, there, and there? And that's all fine and dandy. And we may not get the answer that I want about the slot position and the receivers in general until the season. But I do think it's important to know who is this primary slot receiver this year. We talked about it before. I think it's important to know that. All right, let's get back into the chat before I get to the rest of the list. But TP, Jalen Tolbert.
You just made the list.
Made the list. Legend says he's excited about Tolbert. Somebody needs to replace Noah. Noah must be doing something every offseason to stay on this team. And there's no knock on him. It's just, it's got to be somebody that could outplay him, but hasn't been. Is the big pun dude in here again giving y'all trouble? I'm just curious, big pun. There's no Eagles content creator morning show? Oh, it probably ain't. Captain America, I think Tolbert will eventually replace Gallup. So, Cap. They just signed Michael Gallup to a 5-year deal. Now, again, that doesn't mean he's going to be here all 5 years. But interesting you say he's going to replace Gallup. They got at least 2 to 3 years involved in Gallup. There's a conversation I might want to bring up with my boy later on. I think we talked about it before, but after looking at, what was that contract here? $75 million, $25 million per year mark with Cooper Kupp. I have a hard time believing Stephen Jones. I don't care how much the cap goes up. I don't care if there's $1 billion in cap space. I have a hard time believing Stephen Jones is looking at that number and is like, yeah. If CeeDee Lamb balls out, cool. I have no problem paying that. What I mean by that, Captain, is I think you might have the wrong receiver. Just leave it at that. I don't want to put too much. I don't want to put too much of that energy in the air. I'm just saying, going off the way that this guy Stephen Jones operates. That's all. That's all. Noah's here for special teams and blocking downs. Man, that blocking down crap is ridiculous. Why am I running out my 5th wide receiver just to go out there and block? That literally gives it away. Isn't that what we complained about in 2018? I remember it vividly. 4th and 1. Noah Brown comes in. We know what's about to happen. Motion Noah Brown in. Run up the middle. And that's exactly what happened, and they got stonewalled. I think that's silly. No one knows what the Rooks are going to be able to do until camp. This is true. This is true. Big pun. Now you trolling. N'Kobe Dean will lock down Tolbert. Listen, dog. I like N'Kobe Dean. Tolbert ain't some run-in-the-mill athlete. I like N'Kobe Dean. But please, go to your coaches, and I beg of thee to put N'Kobe Dean one-on-one on Jalen Tolbert. Are you out your mind? Now, I said this show was for the intelligent rival fans. Now, do I need to give him his coloring book? Come on, big pun. Don't do it to yourself. TP annual salary is under $1 million. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the list. Number 3 on today's list, the tight end rotation without Dalton Schultz. Really going to be interested to see how this goes down. And I wanted to play this audio for you guys real quick because I thought, just out of curiosity, or just because he was drafted and you got McKeon, but really after that, I don't believe in sprinkle like that, but it's early, whatever. I thought Schultz would be higher on the depth chart than he was. I asked, I think it was Bobby Belt. I said, hey, now with Dalton Schultz not being around, will we see not Sean McKeon, will we see Jake Ferguson, my apologies, getting some of those 1-2 reps? And this is what Bobby Belt had to say about it.
Well, I mean, from what we've seen at OTAs, it'd be more like they're moving up from, him and Peyton Hendershot are moving up from tight ends 5 and 6 to 4 and 5. They've given all the reps to the veterans. And so all the reps have been Schultz, Jeremy Sprinkle, Sean McEwen, and then even Ian Bunting. And so I think they're just kind of, bringing them along, and they're, they still believe in them. It's just I think they want to kind of hold their hand a little bit until they get used to the veteran work and working with the veterans and stuff like that. And so this may accelerate it a little bit, but I mean, a lot of the reps to this point have been, with throws from Ben DiNucci and Will Greer to them.
That tune go ham, Mike. So, excuse me. That was Bobby Belt about it. That caught me by surprise. Now, I totally understand. About to show y'all this. I totally understand rookies having to earn their spot and things like that. So it doesn't shock me that he's kind of down a depth chart. But when he said that they'll be bumping up from 5-6 or 4-5, I was like, oh, okay, that is interesting. But I don't think it's going to take long for Jake Ferguson to kind of get some of those tight end 2 reps. But I don't think Sean McEwen is going to make it easy. I don't think he's going to make it easy. I think Sean McEwen is I like him. I told y'all before. I really didn't see the need to sign Schultz because I think McEwen could have literally followed that same trajectory as Dalton Schultz did. Now I could be totally wrong, but they brought him back, which cool, whatever. But I don't think they're going to keep him around, especially since Jake Ferguson's been drafted in the 4th round. So we'll see. I want to hear about this rotation without Dalton Schultz. I'm going to ask about it and pay attention to it. I think I found, because I just saw a post from that dude, and I'm sorry. 1 second, y'all, because this is crazy. We got to be better than that. We got to, hey, what's your name, dog? Big Pun? Big Pun, I think I found you, bro. Give me 1 second, Big Pun. Here you go, man. Here you go. Go ahead now, take your coloring books and your crayons. I'm going to give you your bib. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get you a little high chair, all that good stuff. Okay? We're going to make sure that you have something to do while the grown folk have conversation, all right? You got to talk to them like that because we don't want them to start, throwing temper tantrums. Because see, the way I was brought up, you start throwing temper tantrums. Ain't going to be none of that. Go in the corner. All right, Big Pun? There you go. Now we done gave you your damn coloring books and your crayons. Go have fun in the corner somewhere. Okay, back to the conversation. Because you starting to take it all, all types of ways here. We're talking about Nicole Dean being the best. What are we doing? What's up, Danny? Now see, now what you don't want me to do, get my guy that paint houses on your ass. Let's get back to the list, man. 8 tight ends.
You just made the list.
Just made the list. Osa Odigizua versus Chauncey Golston. I'm like, what? Well, I got to put this up there, y'all, because Osa is back in practice. Last week we saw that. But Chauncey Golston was getting the 3-tech reps. Oh, Oh, okay. First team reps. Not Tristan Hill. Not Neville. Golston. And I brought this up before. Maybe the conversation has changed with the competition. It's Golston versus Tristan, but maybe it ain't. Maybe it's Golston versus Osa. I'm keeping my eye on this one. I'm going to ask somebody specifically, hey, man, what's up with that 3-tech rotation now? This is week 3. This is week 2 of Osa being back. Is Golston looking like that for real? Because if that's the case, now once we get to camp, we're really going to have to keep our eyes on this 3-tech situation. Now, again, these are rotation pieces. These aren't guys that are playing 45, 50, 60 snaps a game anyway, but it will go to show just how fast Golston is improving. And I don't want to look at it as a knock on Osa, because I do think Osa year 2 is, y'all know how I feel about him. But it would tell a lot. It would say a lot to me about Chauncey Golston, though. It would say a lot. Toxic says, I love to see Osa versus Golston, iron sharp as iron. Same here. I'd much rather see this battle as opposed to Tristan and Golston, because if it comes down to Tristan and Golston, unless Tristan is just fantastic and just absolutely killing it, then the conversation needs to be, well, let me see what Golston has, because I know what Tristan is. It's year 4. Nothing. He's the same dude he was. So, but Golston year 2 already is looking different. So I would rather see those reps go to him as opposed to a guy that is what he is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
See, Tino? Tristan who? Flo says Hill is going to be cut. Let's be real. Dude hasn't done anything since we drafted him. Danny, I'm the enforcer. Short but shouty. Give him Mississippi. He says he hasn't done nothing. Talking about Tristan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 18 of 50 plus games he's played in his career. I'm ready to see these other Bucks get those reps. Just them. And honestly, another question I would love to ask. I'll see if Kyle maybe talk to somebody. But hey, Tristan, whose idea was it for you to move inside, or whose idea was it for you to put on this weight? I think the staff or the organization, whomever, probably the staff said, hey, I know what we got in Tristan. Yeah, he can come to camp. We'll let him battle. We'll see what's up. Hell, he may even make the team, right? Because somebody may get hurt or you just need the depth or whatever. But this fella here, this right here, he has more ability inside than Tristan Hill. I want to see it. Or he has more traits, or he has more things I like. Just put on a couple extra pounds. I want to see it because I know what he is. So I would love to ask, was that a Dan Quinn call? Was that an Aiden Durde call? Was that a Will McClay call? Whose call was it to move him inside? Chauncey Golston, Osa Odigizua. You just made the list.
You just made the list.
Peasy know about that short bus shouty? I asked Michelle that the other day. I knew she ain't see it, but this is like, whoo, this is old school YouTube. Short bus shouty. All right, let's get back to it. Told y'all, we're going to go through this list. Originally, this was going to be a real short show, but the beginning of it, we had that passion come through, and I loved it. The other guys. Gotta let your wings. Anybody ever see The Other Guys movie? It's a Will Ferrell movie. Not everybody likes Will Ferrell, but I personally think it's a funny movie. Israel McQuamu, Quentin Bohanna, Nashawn Wright. What's up with them? Where they at? Where they at, though? And again, it is OTAs. Listen, I totally understand, right? Like, this isn't, no pads are on. There's no hitting, nothing like that. But again, what did I say before? And I'll stand by it. Much rather hear that you're making things happen as opposed to getting work. Now, I didn't hear any of these guys getting work, so that's a great thing. But for a team that doesn't participate in free agency like that, for a team that's not going to go out here and make those type of trades, we talked about this earlier in the offseason. Year 2 guys are going to be extremely important. In fact, I'd argue the year 2 dudes are going to be more important than your free agents, because they're going to be sticking around. And they're going to be emphasized more to the front office because they're our guys. Now, we're talking about late round picks here besides Nashawn Wright, but hey, that's the type of pressure you put on your team. So I just want to hear what's up with Izzy, because we don't have a backup true free safety. I do like Donovan Wilson to slide over there if he needs to, but Izzy is technically your backup free safety. Okay, so let's see what's up with Izzy. I just want to hear what's going on, man. Does he look better in his back pedal? Is he covering better? Does he seem quicker? What's up with him? That's all. Big Bo. That's my guy. I was excited for Big Bo to come on here because we ain't had a big one tech in forever. We're hearing about Ghost and putting on that. We're hearing about Neville putting on that weight. I'm not saying Big Bo had to put on weight. I'm just curious. Is Big Bo looking big, or is it Slim Bo? Is it Quicker Bo? Is it Bo Nose? I just want to hear a little bit more about Bo. He's him and I think Ridgeway are going to be having to rotate in that one tech situation if they're both on this team. I can't wait for that battle. I can't. Ridgeway versus Bo. Oh yeah. And then Deshaun Wright, the one that I think has the most pressure to perform in regards to these young guys because he's a 3rd round pick. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get in there. He got 4 dudes in front of him. So maybe it's not fair to put him on this list because he sounds like he's just going to be a special teams guy again. And let's just be real. AB ain't going nowhere. J. Lou ain't going nowhere. Diggs obviously ain't going nowhere. And we'll see what happens. I almost called him boss. We'll see what happens with Kelvin Joseph. He ain't boss man. He Kelvin Joseph. So other guys. Bo. Izzy. Deshaun Wright. You just made the list.
You just made the list.
We got a super chat in the building. Appreciate you.
Super chat.
Who is that there? Let me see. Brando. What's up, Brando? For the $5 donation. TJ Vasher will be an important part to our O. Not because we're slacking, because he could be that special. Said Wilson type of stepping in and game changing. Boy, Brando. That's heavy. That's a lot of weight to put on TJ Vasher. That's a lot of weight. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Hold on. Because I'm looking at it like if TJ Vasher, Brando, is an important part to the O, I do think that is because we'd be slacking. So either somebody got hurt or somebody's not performing up to task, Brando. CeeDee Lamb's going to be your guy. Michael Gallup's going to be your guy. Jalen Tolbert should be in your top 3 or 4. And then you got James Washington, who I can't sit here and say TJ's better than James at this. Maybe he does things better than him, like high pointing the ball, but James Washington has skills. So where are we fitting TJ Vasher at in that? Who are we sliding out? The rookie? Are we sliding out James Washington? So if he's an important part, somebody either got hurt or somebody ain't performing up to task. And then he said the Said Wilson type of stepping in and game changing. I don't consider Said a game changer. I think Said, much like Dalton Schultz, was a great part of what was around him. You know what I mean? Great part of what was around him. But that is heavy weight to put on TJ. And if that was to come to fruition, I don't know. I don't think it'd be what you think is what I'm getting at. I don't know if it'd be like, oh my God, TJ Vasher is here to save the day. I think it'd be, Jesus, we're now down to our 6th wide receiver. What the hell happened to the room? And I don't trust Kellen Moore if it was like, all right, he's our 6th wide receiver, but we're gonna specialize him. I don't trust him to do it. Like he's gonna be in the red zone type of guy. I don't trust him. And then who you taking out there? Don't get me wrong. I like TJ, and I do think he needs to be used, but then maybe throw him in there when you're spreading out wide on the 10-yard line and you got Lamb, Gallup, and Vasher, and let's go. Because I can't take Lamb out. I'm not taking Gallup out. But if one of them is hurt, let's go, TJ. A Nigerian says, outside of red zone, how would he help? It would be red zone for me. I mean, if he's going to be important, it'd have to be in like one of those like tight end red zone roles, man, where it's like, yo, you end of the season, TJ got 4 touchdowns. All of them was from inside the 10-yard line type of thing. But if it's like, yo, TJ got 50 catches for 500 yards and 3-4 touchdowns, just somebody got hurt or somebody is not performing up to par. And I like TJ Vasher. Anthony Brown needs to go or get benched. I'm sick of it. DJ, you wasn't here the other day, huh? You wouldn't have liked that show when we was praising AB. Oh my, Brando said, what if he takes Tolbert's spot? Woo, woo, woo. That's not good. I mean, good for TJ, right? Like, salute. But if he takes Tolbert's spot, like flat out beats Tolbert, let me ask y'all. How confident are you in Tolbert moving forward if he can't beat out TJ Vasher, who I don't think is a better route runner than him? I don't know. Obviously, he's not faster than him. I don't think he's as versatile as him. Taller, he's bigger. He can go up and get it better and things like that. But that's your third-round pick, man. That'll be interesting if he beats out a Jalen Tolbert. Marvin Jones, Sky, if it's expected to take a player, 3 years to become a consistent contributor, how long is it expected for an offensive coordinator / play caller? Well, I can't. That is something I'd have to ask a coach, right? That's been around. And in fact, Sean Payton, I think, spoke on this when we were playing the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was this year or the previous, but he talked about Kellen Moore and being young and understanding how difficult it is to be a young offensive coordinator surrounded by these veterans and these veteran head coaches. It's hard to get your word out there, or and Sean's a different animal, right? Like if Sean Payton, who we know Sean's a strong leader, a strong dude, if he's saying, yeah, it's tough, man, to kind of get that respect early on as a young offensive coordinator, I can only imagine how tough it is for a guy who isn't as strong. I mean, can preface this for somebody go telling on Kellen Moore, Sky said, this is just people that have told me he's not that type of personality. These are organizations that have interviewed Kellen Moore that said he's not that type of personality. It is what it is. So that therein lies, we'll bring it back full circle. That's why I always thought it was weird to throw a guy so green, to give him the keys to a Ferrari who doesn't know how to drive it. Thought it was weird. And sure, we look at these fun numbers, but like Bobby Belt said, if you go back and listen to that interview, he might hit that gas real fast, right? But when it comes to make that turn, because you can go straight in any car, just hit the gas and let's go. I'm going straight. But when it's time to turn, does he know how to slow down and brake, shift gears, and all the other stuff? 3 years in a row now, he showed he doesn't. So I think you should have gave it to an experienced driver. It could have been a young experienced driver. The Mike McDaniels of the world. The Kyle Shanahan was a young experienced driver. I always bring up the same guys because that tree is just fantastic, but it is what it is. There's other guys, the Brian DeBalls and all that stuff. So how long? I would have to talk to a coordinator that's been around this league and a multiple to kind of give a collective, gathering of data and come up with a number. But I will say this. If they're that green and you got that kind of offense, I'm not giving it. I'm not giving it to him. Michael uses diesel. Do we have a single burnout receiver drafted or not? Says KG from DC. We do not. Burner? No. Toxic Tom, Sky, do you think Mo or Kellen Moore have shaved in their lives? Man's game don't count. Let me tell you this, Toxic. I did see your and shout out to Professor O. He sent me this. If y'all are watching Stranger Things right now, Mo do look like, is it Henry Creel or Victor Creel? The young Victor Creel. I should bring up the picture. He definitely looks. Mo, if you're watching, you look like Victor Creel, bro. Betsy says today's media can't wait to hear from the boys. Yeah, me either. That's why if you were just tuning in, today is another installment of The List.
You just made the list.
Kind of go through it here before we end the show. Jalen Tolbert's his return. I'm looking to see how he looks, how he's moving out there, and more importantly, where he's being used, because we haven't seen him yet or heard about him with the veterans. Tony Pollard, kind of similar. Now Tolbert's back. There's a little bit more depth in the receiver room. Is he still getting those slot snaps? Is he still getting snaps out there with Zeke? Is this just all a facade? Is this to make us happy in the offseason? Then once the season starts, they won't use him out there. Who knows? The tight end rotation without Dalton Schultz. That explains itself. I want to see how these guys are moving around while Schultz is out holding out. Osa versus Golston. With Golston now moving in to play more 3-tech and some 5-tech defensive end snaps. But I think the conversation might be shifting towards Osa v. Golston as opposed to Golston v. Tristan Hill. And then the other guys, Izzy, Bo, Nashawn Wright. I want to hear something. What's good? Because with Izzy, he's a backup free safety. We got a guy who's a starter that's been career injury prone. So that's an important position. Bohanna, hey, man, they drafted a guy to come challenge you. So I want to see if you're up for it. And then Nashawn Wright, just anything. From a cornerback standpoint, if we can. It's early, but it'd be nice to hear something. So that is the list for today to watch, y'all.
You just made the list.
I'm going to get to a few more. I'm going to go ahead and close these phone lines in about 2 minutes. So if you want 351-999-3787. If not, we're closing it, and we're going to get out of here at a very decent time. Proud of y'all. We didn't go 3 hours today. Jarvis Wright says, Stranger Things last episode was wild. Man, that last episode was the whole season. I told y'all, the best Netflix original series of all time and one of the greatest shows of this century, man. Period. CJ says, Sky, it's really funny that the 3 and 4 letter networks are saying Tony Pollard needs to be involved more. I almost did an entire show dedicated to that ish. Mina Kimes, who's fantastic. She had a great segment on the same things we've been saying since what, CJ? We've been saying this since, well, I've been saying it for years, but I mean, like, specifically with you guys, week 9, when we started noticing that, hey, bruh, where the hell did Tony Pollard go? So it ain't nothing new to us. But yeah, you know, I guess they're calling him out now, and we'll see how it comes about. Special K says, what about number 1? What you mean, brother? Sky, how does Cooper Rush do? I haven't heard much about Cooper Rush besides him getting pick 6'd by Marquise Bell. That's interesting. Like, is Cooper Rush to y'all? Y'all feel safe because of how he performed last year against Minnesota? I welcome competition. It ain't like it's a bunch of these guys walking around out there. I definitely welcome competition to Cooper Rush, though. I think people see that last play where he, you know, to Cooper and be like, see, Cooper Rush, look. Or that pass to Said Wilson, like, see, Cooper Rush. We forget we was ready to throw him off the cliff after the first half. And not even just the first half, in general. But them two plays, the play to Said gave him a little bit more rope. Like, all right, let's see what happened next. He wasn't doing shit for the rest of the game. Then he threw that ball to Cooper, Amari Cooper, who made a spectacular circus catch, but only because the cornerback just didn't catch the interception. So, I mean, I don't think that game was enough for me to be like, oh, Cooper Rush, backup quarterback, case closed. Nah, bring in some competition. Will Grier had a chance to be that guy last year. We brought him in last year. Will Grier didn't, you know, we'll see what he looked like. Oh, Kelvin Joseph. Yeah, he made the list last week, Special K. KJ made the list last week, and he was one of the guys. I want to hear about Kelvin Joseph, right? And I really didn't. I asked Chill about it. I said, hey, has there been any shakeup in this cornerback room? Right? Like, is Nashawn Wright, is Kelvin Joseph putting pressure on these guys? Are they getting some of these first team reps? And he kind of just laughed because he was like, listen, the cornerback room the same as it's been. He said, I haven't seen nothing from Nashawn Wright. And I can't remember exactly what he said about Kelvin Joseph, but there doesn't seem to be any movement in the cornerback room. So I got my answer on KJ. Chris said Cooper killed it in that. Cooper who? Amari Cooper? Not Cooper Rush. Don't get me to doing a damn film session on Cooper Rush in that game. Shit. Should have had like 3 interceptions. I listen, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this to Cooper Rush. He is a Dallas Cowboy, y'all. I hope he looks great. But he damn sure did not kill it, in my opinion, in that game. We did a film session on Will Grier when he got signed. You know this, Danny. You can have the best cannon in the world. That don't mean shit at the quarterback position, right? Like, there's so much more to the QB position. Watch Will Grier at West Virginia. Danny. It's 2022, brother. This ain't West Virginia. There's actual tape of Will Grier playing in the NFL. Like, we got that tape. We don't got to go back to West Virginia. I got tape of him in Carolina. Sure, he has a live arm. Cool. You know what's more than that, man. Come on. I love Danny will come in here. You kind of like Marv. I'm telling you about that 17th round pick, man. He gonna be come on, dog. Let's be real here. CJ Richards, Sky, how are the safeties doing in OTAs? Marquise Bell made a pick. I think what's the cast? Hooker. Hooker got an interception as well. So there's something. All right, we got a couple more, and we're going to get out of here. KG said Will Grier is Ryan Leaf. I don't know if he that bad, man. But he damn sure ain't nothing to write home about. For sure. Will August 20th preseason game versus Chargers will be the dress rehearsal game since only 3 games. Yes, Betsy, I personally believe that. We talked about that yesterday. Since it's only 3 preseason games, most likely that second preseason game will be the dress rehearsal. So if you're out in LA, go make the trip and check them out. I'll try to be out there as well. Probably not around that time though. But hey, do me a favor if you may. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button if you enjoy the show. Share this content with your Cowboys family, friends, foes, whomever. Because we're going to continue to grow on this channel because of y'all. And I appreciate that. Sky, who's your number 1 safety of all time? My favorite safety of all time is Darren Woodson, who I think is the greatest that I've seen. I know you got the Ronnie Lotts of the worlds and all that good stuff. And salute to those boys. But Ed Reed, and I love free safety play. Ed Reed to me is the greatest safety of all time. And I don't think it's a far stretch. So sue me. Sky, be sure to keep your eyes on Ryan Nall at camp. With that said, I'm going to say this to you about Ryan Nall, sir.
Hell no. To the no.
Damn, I know goddamn Ryan Nall. I know. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and hit this button here. Make sure y'all tune in later tonight. Mauricio Rodriguez will be back for the final show of the week, A to Z Sports Prime Time. I'm going to reach out to my media friends and see if we can get one of them on tomorrow. But in the meantime, in between time, if we don't, all good. We'll get a lot of nuggets and notes from the media that we'll talk about on Friday. It'll kind of be a little bit of a roll the TV out type of Friday because we'll just kick back, take in everything we're hearing from the players, from the media about OTAs, and discuss that. So tune in for that, y'all. That's it. Peace. We out of here, man. Oh, I love Sean Taylor. Come on. Now, some of my favorite safeties. I don't got just one. I got a ton. Rest in peace, Sean Taylor. But Ed Reed the best. Ronnie Lott, man. Salute to Ronnie Lott, man. Also, put Woody in the goddamn Hall of Fame. Stop playing with Woody. We out of here. Love y'all. Peace.